Is the instructions on how to do a source of knowing assignment. These are the blue instructions are to set it up at the top, get you started, and the green ones are to answer the 4 questions. And you only have 4 questions you have to answer about the story. Now the story should be you should already have a story, maybe one that you've already clipped for your vocabulary assignments. You can use the same ones. I recommend it, makes it easier. Or you can use a new one, but it has to be fit the date range that you've been assigned and the type of story you've been assigned. And you should know how to use story types and find a story by the type. You got to learn how to do that. And so for this example, I already have a story clipped, and I got it from the LA Times. It's old, from last year when I did this before. And I'm going to walk you through on how to set up the source of knowing assignment. It's 1 page, not very hard. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to Microsoft Word, create a new document. And I'm going to put my name at the top with my period number. Then I just aligned it to the right. Now I'm going to go back to the left alignment. And this is where I'm going to pull the title of the story from my clipping. This is the title of this, or the source. The source goes first, I'm sorry. Correction. Stand corrected. Got to follow my instructions. What do the instructions say? Let's go back to the instructions. First, I have to do this in 12-point Cambria black font with a 1-inch margin on all sides. 1 inch is pretty standard. You can see right here, this is 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, so don't worry about that. And I put at the top of the paper in the right corner, highlighted in yellow, just your name, period, and grade level. Ooh, this assignment's asking for grade level. So that's different. So we're going to put the grade level there and highlight it in yellow. And everything is supposed to be in Cambria 12-point black font. And then we're going to the left, align it here. Now, here's where we put our title. And it says for our instructions, the title, align to the right, put the title source of knowing with the number being number 1, bold, underlined, and in 16 points. All right, so the source of knowing, number 1, this is the first one. You'll have more than one. Bold, underline, and that title is in 16 points font. Now everything else, and put the date range for the SOK, comma, story type in 12 points. Everything else is in 12 point. So now we're going to put the date range, non-bold, not underlined. This is the assigned date range, which you will look on the calendar to see what you were assigned, and the type of story. For this source of knowing, I have been assigned an entertainment story. Each class will have a different type of story for the date range that they're on. Then we get into the green instructions. There's 4 parts. Each part will have a number and a label like this, number 1 and create. Then return to the next line, single space, and answer the question for each part, then double space before the next part. So part 1 is create. So I'm going to do a 1 dash create, put that in bold. And then return to the next line. and unbold. And for number 1, it says create an identity for the story for me. Do this by giving me the information for each prompt. So there's 4 prompts. So indent A, the title of the story in all caps and underlined. All caps and underlined. And this is all 16. Oh, it's supposed to be 12. I thought that was a little big. This is supposed to be 12.2. And so the title is all underlined and all caps. And then B is the author of the story if it is published with a by in front of their name. So we got to find out who the author, if there is one, if you can see it. No underline. And if it's there. And then C is the date of the story, comma, and the source of the story in italics, usually LA Times. So the date of the story is January 23rd, 2016. This, again, was a story from last year, comma, LA Times. And LA Times is in italics. And then the last one is the page number, if we know it. And if it's not the if you didn't use the LA Times as a source, which you're allowed to use other reliable sources on the internet as long as they're reliable, then you would put a URL address, like www.newsweekmagazine.com. And the actual link to the story so that I could go check it if I wanted to. And it should change to blue if the link is a working link. So then we're going to go down to number 2, double space here, 2, dash. And the second thing after create is clarify. And let me make this a little bigger for you to see. And this one is, again, it's all 12 point. You got to be consistent in all of your fonts and sizes and colors and everything. Clarify. This is bold. So the whole thing is in 12 point except for the title at the top, source of knowing, that's 16. All right, so now for this one, you're simply answering, was it say? Clarify why you chose the story, what specifically was interesting about it, explain any personal connection, short paragraph, 2 to 4 sentences. All right, so here's where I'm going to say why I chose the story. I chose the story, this story, because. And then you'll just answer that question. And let me pause. I guess it's not going to let me pause. All right, I have this already completed, and I will. I will finish that part later. Let me just show you how to get to it. All right, I just don't want to waste your time typing all, taking me a little while to type it all. So I'm just going to show you how the basic structure, and then you can answer the questions on your own. Fortify is the next one. And fortify is to, let's see what the instructions say for fortify. Fortify is fortify a summary of the story by explaining it simply in your own words, 1 to 2 inches of text. So that is where you just put the story in your own words. And this one starts out, the Oscars are the annual awards. And I wrote, the Oscars are the annual awards for movies. For the last 2 years, black actors and directors have been nominated for awards. This sparked a backlash this year with many actors and creators of films vowing to boycott the awards by not showing up. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, who sponsors the awards, responded to the controversy by committing to change the membership of those artists to make up those eligible to vote for the winners. Older members may be dropped. And so that was a short summary of it, and I'll fill that in later because I don't want to waste your time watching me type. And then the next one is number 4. It is negotiate. And that is in bold. And negotiate says, in your own words, negotiate a meaning and a value to the story by identifying what you learned from it or comment about it, 1 to 2 inches of text. So you're going to give a meaning to the story or a value to it, or comment on the story. What do you think about the story? What do you what did it mean to you? And this one is the question. Here's my answer. The question is raised whether dropping older viewers is fair. They claim they are colorblind, erase, and vote for those who deserve the awards. It is the Hollywood film business that is biased towards whites, not the Academy members. When filmmakers in Hollywood are deciding which films to make and who to cast in them, they should be more inclusive to blacks. On the other hand, when most of the voting members are white, how interested are they in films that are perceived as black films, like Straight Outta Compton? Maybe they just need to simply boost the number of black and minority members in the Academy. So that's my opinion on it. That's what I got out of it. And it's about 2 inches in height in the story. And that's it. I'm done. Now, it says at the end of the instructions, have someone proofread your assignment before turning it in. Have somebody else look at it to see if you made mistakes, especially in structure, fonts, colors, alignment. Turn in as a PDF with the same name, your name, period, number, story type. So it needs to be, I'm going to save it. And I should have saved it at the beginning. Remember, always save first, save often. Save as your name dash period number dash type of story. And that's how you're going to save it. Of course, you're going to save it as a Word document first, and then you're going to save it again as a PDF, and that's making your copy of it. Because remember, you turn in you put both in your file locker, and you only turn in the PDF. And why do you need the original? Because if you made a mistake and you have to go back and change it or fix it, then you can go back to the original, but you cannot go back to the PDF. So when this is all done, let me show you what it looks like all done. Oh, I don't have the example here. It's on the Jupyter calendar. You can see what it looks like when it's all done. Sorry about that, guys. This recording doesn't allow me to pause. And so anyway, it's that simple, guys. You just have to answer 4 questions about a story. That's it.